In today's video, we're going to take a look at how we can gather information and put it into a tally graph or a tally chart. So a couple of things that we need to know about tally charts and tallies before we get started. So just a quick reminder about tallies that when I'm making tallies, I'm going to do 4 in a row, so they're just straight lines. And then when I get to the 5th one, I'm going to go across. This makes it really easy for us to look at how many we've kept track of. And so if I continue with the next one, so on the 6th one, I start a new group of tallies. So 7, 8, 9, and then again, when I get to the next one, I'm going to cross over to see an easy 10. That way, when I'm ready to count, I can do 5, 10, and then count on from there. So quick reminder there about tallies and what those look like. Let's take a look at a tally chart. So if I'm doing a tally chart, what you'll see is that off to the side there will be labels of the information that you're collecting on your tally chart. So in this particular one, we are looking at this young lady, and she has a hat collection of quite a few hats. And so we're going to see how many hats she has of each color. So she has some blue hats, some green hats, and some purple hats. And she has them all laid out here for us. And what we're going to do is see how many she has of each hat. And so what we'll do is, as we're counting them, for each hat that we see, we're going to make a tally under the tally section of the tally chart. So we'll see we're starting with blue here, and those are represented by the blue hats. So what I like to do is, if there's a picture for me already and I'm collecting data in the tallies, as I make a tally, I'm going to cross one off. So I have one here, and then I'm going to make a tally. That way I can just make sure I remember how many I've counted and which ones I still need to count. If I just go back and forth between the two of counting and then making a tally, then it can throw me off. So we'll do one there. There's another one, another tally. So I keep crossing off. And remember, as I've gotten 4 on my 5th one, I'm going to go across so I can see really easily. Another way that I can do it as well, if I don't want to go back and forth, that's a little bit faster. If I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12 blue hats total. And so I can go down. I already have 5 marked. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So notice again, for each group of 5, I did 4 and then 1 across. That way it'll help me when I'm counting. So I have 5, 10, 11, 12. Let's look at green. So green hats look like this. Let's count them. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have a group of 5 here as my tally. Finally, we have purple. 1, 2, 3. So notice I didn't need to make the one that goes across because I only have 3. I don't have enough to make a whole group of tallies with the cross. The last section of a tally chart we'll notice is the total. So this is where I actually write the numeral or the number that represents the tallies. So it goes across like this in rows. So blue hats, I made a tally for each hat, and we can see there's 5, 10, 11, 12. So in the total, I write the numeral 12, which is a 1 in the tens place, a 2 in the ones place. Then I'll look at green. So again, going across the row, I see one group of 5. So I write the numeral 5 in the total column. And then finally, we have purple. There were 3 tallies and 3 hats, so I write the numeral 3. We'll look at another video later where we'll analyze this data and we'll make it into a graph. But for right now, we're just going to stick with getting the hang of doing tally charts. So let's look at one more example, because sometimes there's not always going to be a picture for you. You might be collecting information either by asking people things or by doing something else. And so this next example, what we're going to do is we're going to spin a wheel. And so I have 3 different shapes. I have squares, triangles, and hexagons. And so I have a little spinner here, and what I'll do is I'll click it, and it spins, and it's going to give me a result. So for each spin, I'm going to collect a tally. So it landed on hexagon. So I'm going to make a tally under hexagon. I'm going to spin 12 times and see what I get. So that was 1. I'm going to spin again. This one is triangle, so I make a tally. Here's spin 3. Here's a hexagon. So we add a tally each time. Hexagon again. I'll spin one more time and show you, and then I'll show you my results from later. I've got 1 square. So this way, when I'm collecting data, if I'm using a spinner or something like this, I'm not going to make up the data. I have to actually spin just to collect it. So sometimes that's just, we call it probability, or there might be other reasons why you have kind of a random thing that you're collecting information about. And so each time that we're spinning, we'll do 1 tally mark. So it might not always be even, especially if it's a random spinner like this. We'll do a few more here. Got another square. Square again. So I would keep going until I had however many I wanted. I think we said 12 to start with. Just for time's sake, I won't go through all of those. But I would keep going as I was spinning. So I can see so far I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's say I spun 2 more times and I got 2 more results. I'm not done with my tally chart yet. Remember, I need to write the totals. This is going to help us so that we can easily see when we're ready to make our graphs, how many we need to put in our graphs. So we'll count the tallies and put the totals. We've got square. There's 1, 2, 3 tally marks. So I'm going to put the numeral 3. Triangles, we have 3 again. And then for hexagon, we have a group of 5, and 1 more is 6. So this is the start to collecting data. And then in the next video, after we've practiced collecting data with tally charts, then we'll look at how we can put that information into actual graphs.